Hi guys and girls, welcome back to Watch the Time. Thanks for tuning back in, thanks for coming back to see me. I'm really pleased you've done so, and I'm really pleased about to bring you this new Phoibos. All I can say is, release the Kraken. It's a watch or a model that they do I've been aware of for a while. This one looks unbelievable. It's giving me some Citizen ProMaster vibes, but the dial and the bracelet is just stunning. As you'll probably know, I'm a massive sucker for a dial. This dial is, there's a lot going on. A bit of a fume dial. It goes from whatever colour you choose from, whether it be green, blue, purple. It goes to dark and where the minute track is. Nice hands, indices, date location is my preferred location. The bracelet's stunning. On the fly, just clasp. What's not to like? And I don't think there's many other micro brands like Phoibos that try and put out so many original designs, and all for a pretty good price, really, given the materials used, given the movements they use now, and the finishing and stuff. I think Phoibos are doing some excellent stuff. They graduated from being sort of like a micro brand that done Hamad watches a while ago now, in my opinion, and now they're doing some really excellent stuff. Is this all out in a bag of chips? We're going to find out together. All I'm going to say is it might not be one that I can get out of my collection, so that probably lets you know a little bit. But as I say, we're going to get there together. So sit back, relax, get yourself a nice beverage, a nice brew, because it's about that time to get the camera turned around and get on with it. Hi guys, so here's the watch, usual packaging from Phoibos. They've got a couple of different iterations now, but this is probably the most common one you'd have all seen. Inside you've got the warranty card, instruction manual, not too vast. But really not that needed either. This is the box you'd have seen many times. I've put the watch back in, not in the traditional way, just so it's sort of in there anyway. You've got the inner, that keeps it safe in transit. And I've taken off 5 links for it to fit my wrist. And this bracelet is stunning. Look at those sort of different little links as they articulate independently. But all brushed, screw pins. We're going to go into more detail on that bracelet because I really do like it. But put all this to the side so we can concentrate on the watch itself. Just 1 second, guys. So I just wanted to give it another little wipe. But look at that bad boy. So this is the Phoibos Kraken. So release the Kraken. And it's PY059A is the model number. A few colours to choose from. I was lucky enough to get the green one. The purple one does look mad good as well, the blue one and stuff. But I think there's going to be one in keeping with your taste. And if you use this code below, it's Kraken80. It gives you €80 or $80 off the purchase price. This could be for the first month, so do get in there early. But yeah, stunning piece. Inside the watch, it's running Miyota 9015 movement. I'll bring the information up about that movement now. I had this movement many times. It's a date variant of the high beat 4K series Miyota. Yeah, I've never had an issue with these movements. Like I've said many times, they're probably my favorite movement. The Solita movements are fantastic as well, but I do have a little bit of a thing for the Miyota 9000 series. So yeah, 9015, 28,800 beats per hour, giving a really nice sweep of that second hand. And like I said, reliable, because Miyota is made by a Citizen who do some really cool watches. They sell in the millions, to be honest. So yeah, known entity, really cool. The construction of the watch, aside from the crystal, is all 316L stainless steel. So that's the bezel insert, bezel crown, case, bracelet, case back, end links, and the clasp, all 316L stainless steel and all brushed. It's a very tall aesthetic, but given the dial and how the bracelet looks, it doesn't feel too tally. It actually feels like a watch that you could really use for a lot of occasions, despite it being a dive watch, in my opinion. So yeah, all 316L stainless steel, all brushed, aside from obviously the crystal, which we'll talk about in a moment. The case thickness of the watch is 12 millimeters. The case diameter, I measured from the 8 to the 2, it was coming at 40.5 millimeters. When you go from the 9 to the 3, including the crown, it was coming 44.3 millimeters. The lug width on this is 20. That does taper down to 18 millimeters and back up to 20 millimeters at that clasp. And the lug-to-lug tip, the tip of the watch is a true lug-to-lug, given it's got a female end link to the center link, and it's coming at 47.5 millimeters. So I think that's pretty good proportions. Could have probably been a bit thinner, given the movement inside, But yeah, built really well. So there we are. The case back is really, really nice, actually. I am a bit of a sucker for a deep etch case back. And there you go, look at that. That is something really nice, isn't it? I think so anyway. Like I say, the crown is situated at the 3 o'clock position, push-pull crown. I've unscrewed it in preparation for the review with the octopus logo on there. And it's 120 click unidirectional bezel. I'll let you take a listen. Not as audible in terms of the clicks, but very, very crisp. No bounce, no back play. And I would say that lines up pretty close. Yeah, pretty close. The bracelet, like I've said before, this bracelet is something else. I've not seen this bracelet up until the watch came in, and then I saw it on a Yema. So I don't know if it's going to be one that does the rounds, but I think it's just really, really nice. Really, really comfortable. The way it articulates, the links are not too big. Screw pins, as I've said. But all brushed, bit of, yeah, bit going on there, isn't there? And it really does articulate to the wrist nicely because of it. Bit of tape on it, a couple of mils, down to that fully milled clasp with the octopus logo on there. On the fly adjust clasp, which is good to see. You pull it up, you pull it like this, and then put it in. And that's basically it, guys. That's everything going on there. The crystal covering the dial, I'd say generally the clarity is not too bad. You can see the lights that I use and stuff. It's kind of inevitable, but yeah, the crystal's good. It's a sapphire crystal, which you'll be pleased to know. You'll see the water resistance down at the 6 is 200 meters, so that'll give you 20 atmospheres of water resistance, and the weight will appear in the top right. So it's 159.2 grams with those 5 links removed. With those 5 links back in, you're probably touching 175 grams roughly, which is a good bit of heft on a dive style watch like this, in my opinion. But let's have a look at the dial in a bit more detail. So the dial on this is stunning. It's got a fume effect where it goes from green to sort of dark at the sort of minute track. The minute track is going around the outer edge of that dial. You got applied battens everywhere. So you got a double batten at the 12 o'clock position. You got larger battens at the 3 and 9. Small batten down at the 6, making way for that date, which, and I've said before, that date position is my favourite position, given it doesn't mess up the symmetry of the watch, which for people with OCD like me, that's quite important, to be honest. Yeah, the rest of the battens are the same size, but like I said, they look really well done. They're brushed, as are the hands. Not it's a little bit coarse, but I'd say quite fine brushing generally, to be honest. I do like a bit of brushing on the hands. Makes it look a little bit more dated. Adds a bit of a rustic sort of look to it. And the hands on this are just, they're done really well. Good proportions, a little bit different. And I do respect the hell out of Phoibos for sort of the original stuff that they put out. Not all brands can say they're doing that, especially brands that don't cross the earth. So it's good to see that Phoibos are maintaining that after cutting their teeth on homages early on. You've got the logo that looks like it's been printed onto the dial just below the 12 o'clock position. You've got automatic 200M just above the date window at the 6 o'clock position. And like I said, the hands, indices, the dial, it just works. I like the red accent on the second hand, obviously automatic written in red as well, just for that bit of continuity. And like I said, few colours to choose from. And now you're at the point inside, come on, show us the loom. Where you go. And the loom really did not disappoint me. The loom was, you got 2 different colour looms, and it just goes and goes. I didn't have to charge it. When I was on holiday, I showed some pics. I could tell the loom was good just from being out in the sun for a little while, coming inside, and it was just glowing and glowing bright. So I knew the loom was going to be good. So when I did the loom test or the loom degradation video, I was pretty hopeful that it was going to be good. And yeah, it definitely lived up to my expectations, surpassed them slightly. But I know Phoibos don't mess about with their loom. I know that's not an area in which they cut corners. So I was quite optimistic. Unfortunately, it lived up to that expectation. So thank you very much, Phoibos. Good loom, you'll be pleased to know. In terms of the watch itself, like I said, it's got a 9015 movement inside. I'll take the crown out. I'll scroll through so we can see together where it changes over. Say 4 minutes to. That's acceptable. That's not too bad. And then what I'll do, I'll leave it at sort of the 10 past 8-ish position, or just before. So now I know it's in the safe place. So don't change the time between the hours of sort of 8 p.m, 4 a.m. because you might mess up the movement itself. So then what you do, take it to the first position. If you turn away from you hear that little click as the date is changing. And yeah, we know it's good to use. If you push it back so it's in a position where it's sort of neutral to the case, turn away from you, you'll hear you're charging it. And when the time comes to screw it back up, turn it away from you and then put it in. And you know it won't cross thread. And that, my friends, is a good... Let me just pop it on the wrist quickly, give you an idea what it looks like on my wrist. I won't be a second. Okay, so this is what it looks like on my wrist. There's so much about this watch that I like, from the clasp. The bracelet, for me, is a real standout, as is the dial. I'm also not hating the fact that the movement is what it is. Obviously, I love the movement. This watch is ticking lots of boxes. Gives me lots of vibes, sort of Citizen ProMaster vibes, with the case and the bezel and stuff. But I think this is a stunner. But more importantly, what do you all think? Okay, so guys and girls, that would now take me swiftly on to what I think is pants and Pukka about the watch. If you've ever watched before, you know I always start with pants. I like to go on a high with Pukka. So what I think is pants. Guys, I'm going to be honest, this is my favourite Phoibos to date. There's a few of them going around the narwhal and stuff that I would like to take a look of. But this one is Kraken, or Kraken, should we say. The only thing I'm going to say, there's only one thing that's been bothering me, and that is the link here. I don't like the way it articulates to the case, to the clasp, excuse me. I don't know why it needs to be like that. It just looks a bit of an afterthought, to be honest. I think they could have done a little bit better than that, given how well the rest of the watch is made. It just looks like it just hasn't been thought of. They could have just closed that off, I suspect, in some way. I don't know why it needed to be like that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say, is that link for pants. What I think is Pukka, quite a bit more, because like I say, I think this is a Kraken watch. So first I'm going to say the sapphire crystal. Always was going to say sapphire crystal. The dial on this is stunning. Just so many sort of layers and textures and stuff going on there. Really, really nice. The hands and indices. I've not seen these sort of hands before. I like how they're done. And the loom is different, given it's got a couple of layers on there and different sections, which is cool to see. The loom on this is, again, Kraken. Really, really like it. The movement, like I said, the high beat movement in this dive style watch. Yeah, really, really cool. The bezel, like I said, the bezel lines up nicely. It's a stainless steel insert in keeping the rest of the watch brushed and everything else. The bracelet, as I say, this is one of the most comfortable bracelets I've had the fortune of being able to wear. Really, really nice, articulates lovely. The clasp, like I said, a real functional on the fly adjust clasp. Really nice to engage with, good size, in keeping with the sort of size of the watch itself. And the general look of the watch, I just think this is a stunner. It's a real tooly aesthetic with all the brush surfaces, but with the dial and stuff and the bracelet, it adds obviously that element where it looks a bit more dressed up. So that's what I'm going to say for Pukka, is I'll go with the sapphire crystal, dial, hands and indices, loom, movement, bezel, bracelet, clasp, and the general look of the watch. Oh, we got there. And that'll take me on to, would I recommend this watch? And I mean, it's always one of those, isn't it? I've said it so many times, given I'm one of the channels that actually give a clear opinion rather than just talking about a watch. When I get to this point, it seems futile that I'm going to say anything, but of course, I would recommend this watch. My favourite Phoibos to date. One I can't see myself parting with. I've really enjoyed it. I've had it on wrist now for, I want to say, 2.5 weeks. I was lucky enough to get it really early. I've just loved my time with it, guys. So yeah, definitely recommend it. But guys, as I always say, please let me know what you think about this watch. More importantly, maybe any other watches you may want to see on the channel. And as I always say, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and always watch the time. Take care, guys. All the very best.